I'm 85 years old. For 42 years, I've shared a bed, a bank account, and a last name with the same woman. I thought I knew her like the back of my hand. I knew she liked her steak medium well, her coffee black, and her roses red. I thought being a provider, the man who paid the mortgage and bought the jewelry, meant I had earned the right to say I knew her heart. I was a fool. Yesterday morning, the sun hit the kitchen table at a certain angle, illuminating the deep, tired lines on her face that I hadn't looked at in years. I watched her hands tremble as she reached for her cup, the same tremor I've ignored for a decade. In that suffocating silence, a terrifying truth hit me. I am living with a stranger. I've spent nearly half a century building a monument to my own ego, calling it a family, while the woman inside that house was slowly fading into the wallpaper. Most men my age will never admit this. They'll talk about their solid marriages to hide their defeat. They're lying. They don't have a partner. They have a ghost they've grown used to. Don't you dare scroll past this, because the quiet in your house tonight isn't peace. It's the sound of a woman who gave up on being understood a long time ago. I'm going to tell you why your success is the very thing masking your greatest failure. Let's go back. Let's go back to 1984. I was 35, full of fire, and convinced that the world owed me a throne. I was working 60 hours a week at the firm, chasing a title that doesn't even exist anymore. I thought I was a king because I brought home a paycheck that could buy a house with a white picket fence in the suburbs. I remember coming home late, always late. The smell of burnt grass from the neighbor's lawn and the metallic tang of my old keys in the lock. I'd walk in, and she'd be there, always there, sitting at the kitchen table with a single lamp on, a book she never finished resting in her lap. She'd look up, and for a split second there was a spark, a question in her eyes that I was too exhausted to answer. "How was your day, Jack?" she'd ask, and I'd give her the same provider's script. "Tiring, stressful. I'm doing this for us, Mary. I'm building our future." God, I was so arrogant. I was building a future, but I was dismantling the present, brick by brick. There was this one afternoon in '89, a Sunday. The air smelled like jasmine and old leather. She wanted to go for a drive, just a drive, no destination. She said, "Jack, tell me something you're afraid of." I laughed. I told her men like me aren't afraid of anything. I told her to stop being dramatic and let me enjoy my one day off. I didn't see it then. But looking back through the fog of 40 years, I see it clearly now. That was the moment she stopped asking. That was the day she realized that the man she shared a bed with was interested in her comfort, but bored by her soul. She tucked her dreams into a small box in the back of her mind, and I was too busy checking the stock market to notice the lock clicking shut. We think we're being good men by paying the bills. We think stability is the same thing as intimacy. It's not. Stability is the foundation, but intimacy is the house. I spent 40 years polishing the foundation while the roof was leaking and the walls were crumbling from neglect. I remember the smell of her perfume, that Chanel No. 5 she only wore on anniversaries. I realized yesterday I haven't smelled it in a decade. She stopped wearing it. And the worst part? I didn't even notice when she stopped. I was too busy being successful. Look at me now. Look at this house. It's a beautiful house, isn't it? Granite countertops, heated floors, a garden that's perfectly manicured, the American dream realized. But the silence in these rooms, it has a weight to it. It's a heavy, suffocating weight that no amount of money can lift. Across the room she sits, Mary, my better half. She's looking at an iPad, her thumb scrolling through photos of our grandkids. We haven't spoken a meaningful word in 3 days, not because we're angry, but because we've run out of things to say that don't involve the weather or the electric bill. We are two ghosts haunting the same hallway, passing each other like ships in the night. Last Tuesday, I found something. I was looking for a misplaced tax document in the attic when I found an old wooden box. Inside were sketches, dozens of them, beautiful, haunting charcoal drawings of the ocean, of faces I didn't recognize, of a life I never knew she wanted. I've been married to this woman for 42 years, and I never knew she could draw. I never knew she loved the sea that much. I walked downstairs, the sketches in my hand, ready to ask her, and I stopped. I looked at her back, slumped, tired, defeated by decades of being just a wife. And I realized I don't have the right to ask anymore. I forfeited that right 30 years ago when I told her to stop being dramatic. The woman who wanted to be an artist died a long time ago, killed by my indifference. It's a special kind of hell, gentlemen, to be successful in the eyes of the world, but to be a stranger to the person who knows your every scar. To realize that the person you should know best is actually a mystery you're too old to solve. The peace in our house isn't harmony, it's resignation. It's the sound of a heart that has finally stopped trying to be seen. Every night we lie in the same bed, 3 feet of mattress between us, but it feels like a canyon 1,000 miles wide. I reach out to touch her hand, and she flinches just a tiny bit because she's forgotten what it's like to be touched by a man who actually sees her. Listen to me, and listen close. You think you're a hero because you've never cheated. You think you're a king because you paid for the college tuition and the summer vacations. You've looked at your wife for decades and thought, I've checked all the boxes. She's safe. She's provided for. I've won. That is the great male delusion. We confuse providing with protecting. We think providing a roof is the same as protecting her heart from loneliness. It's not. In fact, your success, that long grind, those late nights, that obsession with the next promotion, is often the very wall you built between your soul and hers. We stop being curious. That's the sin. When you first met her, you were an explorer. You wanted to know her favorite song, her childhood fears, the way she liked her toast. But somewhere around year 10, you decided the map was finished. You folded it up, put it in a drawer, and stopped looking at the woman in front of you. You started looking at her like a piece of furniture, reliable, always there, but invisible. You think you know her? Ask yourself this tonight. What is she dreaming about right now? Not what she's planning for dinner or what she's buying for the grandkids. What is the one thing she's given up on that still makes her cry when she's alone in the shower? If you don't know the answer, you don't know her, you just know the role she plays in your life. Attention is the most valuable currency a man has. Not money, not status, just looking at her, listening to the things she isn't saying. But our ego is a greedy beast. It wants to be admired for what we do instead of being present for who she is. We've turned our wives into ghosts of our own convenience. I spent 42 years winning the world and losing the only person who actually mattered. Don't be like me. Don't wait until the house is quiet and your bones are brittle to realize that the greatest mystery of your life was sitting right across the table from you the whole time, and you were too busy to ask a single question. Listen, you still have time. I don't. I'm 85. My bones are brittle, and my memories are fading like old Polaroids in the sun. But you're still in the fight. You can still bridge the canyon before the bridge collapses for good. Here is my advice, not from a therapist, but from a man who failed. First, tonight, turn off the television. Put your phone in another room. Sit across from her. Don't look at her as the mother of your children or the person who manages your house. Look at her as a person you've just met. Ask her one question. What is a dream you stopped talking about because you thought I wouldn't listen? Second, shut your mouth. For 15 minutes, just listen. Don't try to fix her. Don't tell her why her dream is impractical. Don't bring up the mortgage. Just let her words fill the space between you. You might find a whole world you never knew existed right under your roof. Third, relearn her language. Not the words she says, but the ways she asks for help without speaking, the way she sighs when she's tired, the way she looks at the ocean. Find that box of sketches, find that old guitar, find the woman who existed before you turned her into a wife. I spent 42 years buying her jewelry to keep her quiet, when all she wanted was for me to be quiet and look at her. Don't make that trade. Jewelry stays in the box after you're gone. The feeling of being seen stays in her soul until the very end. There is a freedom in the end of life, but only if you aren't haunted by the ghosts of I didn't know. I am 85 years old. I am a successful man by every metric the world values. And I am telling you, the only success that matters is that when she looks at you, she sees a man who knows her heart. Go to her, now, before the silence becomes permanent. Make it count.